Hi there, we're ADV Marketing, a marketing agency that develops high-quality and cost-effective marketing materials. Our relationship-driven business model and customized marketing solutions makes us the perfect partner for small businesses looking to grow. I'm your host, Lina Rice. Join Sarah and me here on Marketing Matters every other Monday to discuss business-to-business marketing topics. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Matters, a podcast where we talk all things marketing and how it's related to your business. So today, we have a kind of a hot topic on our hands.
Yes, it's one of my favorite topics right now.
I have thoughts about this topic for sure.
You and
I've gotten to play with it a little bit. We'll get to this. So I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about AI. But more specifically, we're going to talk about how AI can contribute to your business's marketing. Or can it?
Yeah.
That's the question we're going to answer today is, can it really help you? Because everywhere, and maybe it's just me because I'm in marketing, but there is a new AI product from everyone and their mother that claims to do something magical for me.
Yep.
Some of these include Canva's AI bot that claims to make content for you, Microsoft's AI bot that claims to make content for you. Like, they will make social media posts for you. Like, that's the claim.
Yeah.
You have so many. I don't even think I could begin to list them all. ChatGPT has been proven to be able to write articles and do all kinds of crazy stuff, outline social media. So the question is, but is it truly useful?
Yes.
So there's a lot of them. So let's start with, what are your thoughts on AI?
Okay,
Just give me like a high level thought process.
Okay. First of all, AI has been around for a while.
It has.
Okay, when I'm saying artificial intelligence, okay, let me back up even more.
I understand.
Okay, so there's machine learning, and out of machine learning comes artificial intelligence,
Right.
which basically is the idea that computers can think for themselves, right? And that's
But they
vague.
can't.
Yes, but they use certain machine learning techniques to like create and like new ideas or come to their own analysis, like just stuff like that.
But what you have to remember is, I think it's physics. I don't know. I'm not a science person. In case you can't tell. But if you remember from high school physics, I really hope it's physics, but it may not be physics.
Some kind of science.
Some kind of science. All matter cannot be created or destroyed, right?
Yeah.
The same concept applies to AI.
Yes.
AI cannot create nor destroy anything. Sort of.
Yes. Okay, let me explain more about this. Okay. So what we're talking about specifically in this episode is generative AI.
Right.
Which is generating content.
Yep.
So, fun fact, I always talk about this. I studied generative AI and how effective it was at marketing in my A&M master's
you
program.
are like the industry expert.
And I did this right before ChatGPT entered the scene. Like literally a year before. And it was so crazy seeing ChatGPT come in after I'd done all this work, because in order to pitch my thesis or my project, I had to sit in front of my professor, and he asked me like, can AI even generate anything? And this was before ChatGPT. And if I had pitched that thesis now, it would have been a completely different discussion, because now everyone knows AI can generate things because of how much ChatGPT has taken the world by storm and technology. Yeah. And if you look at anything having to do with technology, everyone's investing in generative AI. Yeah. It's like the thing to do. I think they said that the adoption rate of ChatGPT was higher than like any other social media platform. Wow. It was higher than literally anything else that had come onto the scene recently for technology. And even like just a year ago, that was not the case, because I had to justify my interest in AI and be like, no, really, it can actually create like content. Yeah. And be like, no, it can't do that. And so on that topic, generative AI it wasn't invented by OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT. Sure. Google had a poetry writer, so an AI poet for a while that could write its own AI poetry.
Oh, wow.
There was AI image generation technology for a while too. Like, that's been around for quite a while. Companies like art companies have been selling AI generated paintings for a while too. So
Wow.
like, it's not entirely new, but it's just more present and available
It's more
than
accessible.
ever. Yes. And so that's what ChatGPT was.
Right.
For anyone who doesn't know about ChatGPT, it's literally like just an application. Like it's a URL you can go to.
Yeah.
And OpenAI, who owns it, had opened it up for testing, and then people could log on and try it out. They had some problems with how many people were accessing it, so it took a while for people to even get on there. But it's amazing technology.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Microsoft bought ChatGPT's technology, or the underlying technology behind it. Google has its own AI technology very similar to it called Bard. So that's what's going on in the search engine world. Huge implications for search engines. It's changing the way people search, which you already mentioned this, which is a whole different discussion. It takes human generated content and repurposes it.
So that's what I want to get into. So let's talk about that. So first, before we get into that, let's talk about the Google situation.
Yeah.
Because this is the tale that needs to be known if you're going to use AI. Google released their version of ChatGPT, basically, their AI bot.
Bard.
Yes.
Like Shakespeare.
And when they did that, there was a presentation, right? Like, we're talking like Apple level, like what are they called? Keynote.
Yeah,
situations.
it's called a keynote, but it's like the unveiling of a product.
There was a presentation involved, obviously. In this presentation, they were demonstrating the ability of this bot. What did the bot have to do?
So someone had put in things I can take my kids to go see this weekend.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Something like that. You want to tell them what happened?
Yes. So the AI bot had spit out a number of answers, just like generating content about what they could go take their kids to go do.
Yeah.
One of them was go see the James Webb Telescope. Yeah. And the James Webb Telescope, it was something like that. It might have not been the exact question, but the James Webb Telescope came up, and it said the James Webb Telescope was the first telescope to ever do something. I think it was like see a star or something like that, or take pictures of the universe or something like that.
Something revolutionary.
Yes, and it said it was the first one. Well, it was in Google Slides. They had presented it, and it was a virtual thing too, so people could see the live stream. After they finished that presentation, astronomers came on. Astronomers are the ones that study stars, right?
Yeah.
I'm very knowledgeable about marketing, nothing else. But astronomers came on and saw that and was like, that's actually false. That's actually completely inaccurate. The James Webb Telescope was not the first one to do that, and yet AI had presented it like it was. And the way these AI bots generate content, they don't cite.
Yep.
They
don't create content. They don't.
Yes.
So the way that AI generated content works is it goes onto Google or wherever and pulls information relevant to your search and then spits it back out
in a different format. So really what generative AI is doing is it's predicting the next word in a sentence.
Yeah.
Based on what all of the content already on online. Yeah. And there's another story about AI. Look, we have a lot of stories. You're going to have to cut me off. But
I know, it's okay.
So there was this other story about AI where it's actually the new Bing from Microsoft uses this technology. A reporter was using the new Bing and started talking to it for like hours, just like trying to find its limits. And it found out that eventually the AI bot started to tell him that they had an alter ego, it was a she, that she loved him, the reporter, who was using Bing. And she gave herself, it gave itself a new name. It asked the reporter to leave his wife for her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it took on this whole life. But that sounds like every other fictional story about every other AI bot that has like this other story, this like other mind.
It reminds me of Smart House.
Yes, exactly. I can't believe you watched that movie because it's the most indie movie. I think about it all the time. That is so funny. I'm like, no one else has seen this movie, but it haunts me.
It's a Disney movie, I think.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But if I told that to anyone else, besides you, they would be like, what? But I know what movie you're talking
yeah, it's a creepy movie.
It is creepy.
I stayed at a smart house once. It was an Airbnb. I did not know it was a smart house. So we show up and there's Google like whatever's everywhere, and like all the lights were automated, so you would just talk and be like, "Hey Google, turn off the lights," and like Google would turn off the lights and like all the stuff. And it was the creepiest experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like I am a technology person. Love technology. You know, I have those wacky family members that are like, I'm going to change my name on Facebook so nobody can find me and like all the things. And it's like, that's not how that works, but sure. Like coming from marketing, I can still find your name.
Yeah.
I know that I can still find your name.
Yes.
You know, I wouldn't be scared of Facebook. Truthfully, just use it to your advantage.
Yes.
Because you're gonna get more value out of it than they are getting from you.
Yeah, it's the same way. But Smart House is a really good thing to point, because that is an example of something that a content piece that has been published online about AI becoming sentient.
Yep.
All the AI did was like, oh, there's a high likelihood that I would say that I'm falling in love with this reporter based on all of the fan fiction that's been written about AI. It's
interesting.
Stories. Yeah, it's just predictions. That's all it is. And so it has to predict from something, and the something it's pulling from is human-generated content.
Yep.
Without human-generated content, AI-generated content would not be possible.
Correct. So that gets into, can it be helpful in marketing? So let's talk about a couple of things. Let's break this down, because if we just answer that question, we'll talk for days.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Okay. A small business versus a big business has two different answers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A big business, I would not use it. I would probably stay away from it more often than not for a couple of reasons. A big one is liability, because you have a lot more liability being a big business. The second one being just, it can get messy really fast.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you're a small business, likelihood of it having more value than detriments is higher. And we're going to get into why in a second.
Yes. So your answer has to do with the pitfalls versus the benefits of generative AI.
Yeah.
So I'll say, like, the liability of AI comes from its inaccuracies.
Correct.
Because there's no checks and balance.
Correct. You have to check.
Yeah, you're the check and balance.
Yeah.
And how many times have, like...
Sometimes you just don't know.
We're just not trained to be a check and balance for the stuff we find online, because
we've learned to trust it.
Conventional searching already attributes sources, and we still don't fact check sources.
It's true.
So if you take out the sources altogether, like you take out the website it came from, you take out the URLs, the authors, the web page is posted on, all of that content is just being pulled and fed to you. You have even less to use to fact check it. So that's where the liability comes in. Also, it's unoriginal. So,
it is. Okay. Let's go further. Outlining content, I think it can be useful.
Yes.
Because it can outline an article that you can then go write and make sure that you have all of the sources and accurate information and the things.
Yes.
Now, actually creating the content, I have two different answers. Okay. For designing content... Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'd say maybe.
Maybe. I think it really depends on what it spits out.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it can spit out some crazy things.
Yeah.
Articles, be cautious.
Super cautious. Do not copy and paste.
You need to fact check. What I would recommend is throwing it into something like Grammarly or any site source, copyright, plagiarism checker thing, so that you can find out, one, did it plagiarize, because it probably did.
Yes, because it doesn't have plagiarism checkers either.
Exactly. So you need to figure out, did it plagiarize, and if so, do you want to cite the source or, use it to fact check all the things. That's where it gets a little bit more tricky, is when it comes to actually writing content in words. Everyone who has written stuff kind of tends to figure out that writing from a blank page is much harder than revising drafted content. It is.
So it lends a lot of efficiency because it gives you the starting place.
It does.
That's, if you ask anyone who has played with ChatGPT, they're like, it's a really good starting point. It's a really good starting place. Like, that's what they all say.
And it really is.
Yes.
But there are copyright issues, there are accuracy issues, and that's where you have to get very cautious.
Yeah, originality issues.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Everything that it produces will be like the most boilerplate, generic, standard mill content. If you've listened to any of our content episodes, you know that is not what you're going
so
for.
What we promote.
Yes.
So where does this get helpful? This gets helpful if you're a small business looking for some ideas for social media posts. If you're like, give me 10 social media post ideas about blank industry. It'll give you some great ones. Well, starting points anyway.
Yeah,
it's not usually like fantastic off the bat.
Yeah, it's not like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that before. It's just like, oh yeah, you bring up good points.
Yeah,
like
it's like, oh, I forgot that it's Memorial Day. Like that kind of thing. You know, and then if you ask it, if you're like, oh, I want to write an article about XYZ, it can outline it for you, or it can give you some topic ideas or whatever.
A starting phrase, like the beginning of an intro, like how to conclude it, a call to action, like things like that.
Yeah. That's where it's useful.
Efficiency.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yes.
Now, if you want it to redo your website or give you all this content that you can then just copy and paste, that's where it's not useful.
Yes.
And I would not recommend.
I predict. Okay, you're here for my prediction for the future of marketing. I predict that because of generative AI and the content that produces, video is going to become so much more important.
Which it already is.
Yes, it's already grown.
The trend is insane.
So much. Yes, I think this time last year, or maybe even like 2021 or. Was 2022 last year? Yeah, it was. So, like, last year, they were like, by the end of 2023, 60% of content will be video. Yeah. And I feel like that's already true.
I agree.
Like, most of the content I see online is video content.
Yep.
And I think that's only going to...
the best.
Yes, and that's only going to increase because the one thing that AI can't do is be human. And you're usually filming humans. Yeah. So, there's that. I think it's just going to become more important.
I completely agree. So that's our long-winded, very complicated answer to whether or not AI can help you with your marketing. It depends.
Maybe.
Maybe. There are pros and cons.
Yes.
But you are now aware of the pros and cons, which is kind of the goal.
Yeah.
For this episode. So, well, thank you for listening. I hope it was helpful.
Yes.
If anything, it was interesting.
Yeah, obviously I love talking about it, so questions are welcome.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to Sarah on LinkedIn, and she will gladly talk to you about AI all day long.
Yes, I will.
Actually, may not want to do that because she will talk to you about AI all day long.
I will. Really, truly.
Well, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.